Hello and welcome to the Roar-Makerz podcast.
A one-stop shop for courage, confidence, and mindset building.
Also bringing you all the aspects of mental health awareness, business and entrepreneurship. We are your hosts,
Adam Ellis
and Jason Borman of the Roar-Makerz Coaching. Tonight we've got a very, very, very special guest, Jim Lutz, who is a dear friend. He's a fellow coach, accredited coach. He's currently training to be an NLP master as well. He's been an athletics coach in the swim team for like over 37 years, and he's taken people like from newbies to kind of champions, and yeah, he's done a lot in the sporting world. He's also an author of 5 books. He's a motivational leader and a speaker, and we're so pleased to have him on tonight and to get the chance to interview and speak with him. So without further ado, let's bring him on. Hello, Jim.
Hey guys, how are you?
So if you can start off by covering anything that I missed out in that little introduction there, and kind of reiterating who you are and what you...
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, and all the things that I've done over the years, it's kind of like you could just shoot a shotgun at a whole wall full of things. It's like, yeah, you probably did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But the biggest thing, that what I have always found the most gratification, the most satisfaction is working with people and getting people to overcome previously perceived obstacles and things of that nature, and just get them to do something that was out of their comfort zone, and they turn around and give you that big ear-to-ear grin. There's just fewer things that are more gratifying than that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. So I noticed an accent there. So you're obviously from America. So just tell us a little bit about that. And
yes, or as they say, the colonies, right? I grew up in Kentucky, graduated from the University of Tennessee, so I have a bit of that Southern twang in me. I've lived all over the country. I lived in California. I lived in the heartland in Iowa. Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, those are all those, as they call them, the I flyover states in the middle of the country. I lived in Arizona, Illinois once before, Michigan, Indiana, and now I'm in the Chicago area. And we're going to be moving to Arizona sometime after the first of the year to be closer to my in-laws.
Awesome.
Yeah. So when I get tired, if I have an adult beverage or two, I'll start drawing out my words and get a big old twang. Shoot, the next thing you know, I might come up with something, be a great lyric for a country and western song.
So I'm like familiar with the New York, New Jersey area because I lived there myself for like 13 months. So yeah, it's nice to kind of hear about all these other places, and yeah, which I've not yet been to. So yeah. So you mentioned that you're a swim coach and stuff like that. You've trained all these athletes and stuff. What can you tell us about your journey with that, and kind of
when I was in college, I had swum for 13 years through high school, and I was an average swimmer. Competed at the high school championships and that, but I was never a national caliber swimmer. It didn't come real easy. And I was under the belief and mindset, if you worked harder than somebody else, you might catch a few breaks. You were never entitled to anything, nor was anything granted. And so I started coaching in the summers, and then it started becoming became a year-round thing. And I was actually coaching full-time when I was finishing my undergrad. And I was actually an assistant for the college women's team at the University of Tennessee my last year as an undergrad. So here I am, a student coaching the women, at the university. And then I just pursued it from there. And, you can read stuff in a book, Jason, and Adam. You can watch videos, listen to coaches talk. But the truth is, it's not unlike what we do now. Is you see the people, what's on their hearts. And, when somebody's not being straight up with you, you can tell they just don't have that passion and conviction. And as I told somebody the other day, somebody had asked me, well, Jim, what is a coach? And I said, well, the great John Wooden said, a coach is a person who gets people to do things they don't want to do to enable them to become the people they want to become. Well, in our quote unquote life coaching, what we're doing now, somebody thought, well, are you going to be like a counselor, a psychologist? What do you, I said, no, those guys ask somebody, why are you taking a manure bath and how long do you plan on staying in it? What we do, we stand them up in the bathtub, we hose them off, hand them a towel and a change of clothes and says, come on, we got something better down the road. So absolutely what we do is about getting people to see using those tools that they already possess. Because you know what? There's nobody that has a magic wand sprinkling dust over these people to be something they're not. All we do is we enable them to see something that has been hidden or they just didn't realize it for so long. And that's why I'm really excited about this career, is what is going to transpire in the lives of people that I get blessed to work with. I don't know who all they are, but I'm about to find out as we go forward, and it's pretty exciting. I'm getting fired up, just getting up every day, which I do at 4:15, but that's another story.
Yeah. Oh, I love that analogy though, like of how you described the coach there. And yeah, it really is kind of taking someone as they are and building upon that platform and bringing them out of their own way and allowing them to see who they really are, underneath it all.
There's two things with what you just said. And I have no idea what anybody's level of faith is or anything else. But one, God doesn't make mistakes and God doesn't make junk. So everybody we deal with has unbelievable skills and talents. And that we just get to pull back the curtain and say, voila, you are the man behind the curtain and you've got some incredible things ahead.
I mean, I see it every day as well. Like you see people you've known for a long time and then they do something that totally surprises you, like a hidden talent that you're not shown before or, you've not seen in that person. And you look at them completely differently and it's kind of, wow, there you are. Like, yeah.
Well, Jason, one thing I can tell you with 100% certainty, you will never see me singing online saying, oh yeah, boy, he's got a good, no. Not going there. Nope.
That's it. That's something I like to do to show my confidence in that area or build my confidence in that area. Like, because I'm still growing myself and I don't confess to be the finished article whatsoever. Like I'm still building, I'm still becoming the person that I'm supposed to be, right? And like as we all are. Yeah, I don't know if you got a question for Jay.
So from where you was from high school to where you are now, what's the biggest obstacle or hurdle you've overcome?
Well, I didn't know in high school, and I didn't realize till I was about halfway through college that I had a learning disability. I just thought that maybe I just wasn't as smart as somebody else. And up until about a month ago, I hid that quiet for 40 years. And so I started school a year early. So I started in first grade at the age of 5. I started college at 17. So obviously I had something going on between the years that I was able to do the coursework, but man, it was a struggle. And what I realized, I was never part of the in crowd in high school. I was literally a year behind everybody else. So I was always one of the smaller guys. So I was never going to be the star football, basketball player, but I did pretty well in swimming. And that was my deal. And so, but what I learned was people who were stars in high school maybe didn't translate to their adult life the same. And I realized that one, I had a pretty strong work ethic, and I absolutely would outwork somebody. And I tell people when I have an office, I tell people, I said, no one in this office will outwork me. I'm the one turning on the coffee in the morning, and I'm the one turning the lights out at night. And so the thing that I absolutely believe is that if you are willing to pay your dues, and I tell people in the business world, normally it only takes 20 years to be an overnight success, because what the public sees is just the tip of the iceberg. They see the final product. And when you look at athletic teams and they win a championship and they're all smiling, hooting and hollering and shooting the champagne over, let me tell you something. Those champions, they were smiling well before they got to the end game. They already had the mindset that they were champions, that they were winners. And so in that 40 years since I was, actually, it's almost 45 years since I was in high school, I realized that if you are truly committed and passionate about something, as Mother Teresa, Saint Teresa of Calcutta said, you don't have to do great things, but in all things do them with great love. That if you truly are passionate and you have a love about something, there is nothing going to stop you from ultimately getting something better than where you were before. And so many people get tied up into these labels and these titles. Do you think somebody that I coached in swimming is going to look back and say, well, Jim's teams never won a national championship, so he wasn't a very good coach? No, I've got people from 40, 45 years ago that have recently reached out to me through social media, and they said, I want you to know something. What you taught me back then, I still use now. You know, you made an impact in my life that I had no idea at the time. But as I've gone on more and more, it's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how fortunate I was and the impact that Jim made. And that's their words. That's not me tooting my horn. But it's just one of those things that add up. And every day I get up, it's just like, okay, what can I learn today? Am I going to learn that if I don't challenge myself, I'm going to stay stagnant? Could be, you know, because our tendency is we all want to be a little bit lazy. But I mean, I just turned 61 last week. You know, all these people say, oh, I'm going to retire at 65 or 67. It's like, I'm not going to retire. I may change what I do. But first off, I don't do sedentary very well. I suck sitting on a couch. I'm telling you, it's not a good picture. I can't do it. So I'm going to be out doing something. Somebody asked me, and I don't mean to get off on a tangent here, but somebody asked me, what do I want in my retirement? Honestly, I want to make an impact, and I want to keep making an impact. I want an RV and I want a dog. Yes. That's it. I don't have to belong to a country club, a golf course. I'm not going to go run a daggone vineyard somewhere. And what the heck is that? That's just, no, I want to associate. I love people. I absolutely love people. And I enjoy success of others, probably even more than I enjoy it for myself. And as the great tennis player Jimmy Connors said, what makes you a great player? And he says, because I hate to lose more than I love to win. And I love to win. Well, you know what? I love to make an impact, and I hate thinking I missed an opportunity to change and better the life of somebody else.
Love it.
It's amazing. Well, this you can see, guys, why we wanted Jim on the podcast. He's just full of quotes, knowledge, enthusiasm, like energy. Um,
Just so you know, I did earn a BS degree in college. And you can take that as Bachelor of Science or whatever you want.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you're quite right. You know, I've got a career or back career in sports coaching as well. Like I used to teach canoeing and all sorts of outdoor activities, and I can really get, you know, where you're coming from with that story where they called you up and they said they're still using those skills today, because what we teach as coaches is the fundamentals, right? Like, you know, the basics of, you know, is what you need to get right in order to kind of build on, you know, have a platform on which to build, you know, the champion and, you know, these athletes and stuff. And yeah, so it's the fundamentals
you,
they're going to take with them forever and ever.
one of the sweetest things I ever heard was when an athlete would come over and they said, I didn't want to disappoint you because I knew that you knew that I could do this and you believed that I could do it. And to me, you know, that was powerful. In the last 7 or 8 years that I coached, 3 different times I was asked to be a confirmation sponsor for one of my swimmers. And to me, I feel like that means I'm touching them on a whole different level, on a different plane, that I'm touching them on the heart, and not just when swimmers would come out of the water, and this was as young as 10-year-olds, they would come over and I would say, what did you think? And they were not allowed to say good, bad, fast, or slow, because that told me nothing. And they did not take ownership of it. They had to sit and analyze their race. They took ownership of it. And if they made a mistake, they knew I wasn't going to rip off their head and crap down their neck. We were going to talk about it, because these guys that, especially with kids, when they yell at these kids about a race or something like that, I just want to go up to that guy and say, you know what? You are one of the most insecure people I've ever met in my life, because your ego got bruised because your kid swam like a kid will do. But you're thinking everybody in the world thinks that you're a bad coach because somebody swam poorly. Guess what, Jack? There's 3.2 billion people in China that don't care what your swimmer just did, so they don't know who you are. So get over yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, I just went off on a tangent again, guys. You give me an inch and I grab a mile. But you know what? That's what life's all about. It's not what's available, but how much are you willing to grab, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't mind a bit. So yeah, so in terms of like courage and confidence, then what would you say has been your, you know, your standout use of courage in your life?
Great question. And I don't think I have to dig too deep to know this. In all the coaching jobs that I took, I literally, when I graduated from the University of Tennessee, that's in Knoxville, I interviewed for a club coaching job in Barstow, California, which is between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. I am literally moving all the way across the country and I know no one. Year and a half later, I took a job in Des Moines, Iowa. That's coming back to the middle of the country. You know, we're talking a 30-hour drive if you were going to drive it, right? Again, I knew no one but the 5 board members who interviewed me. So every one of I have no problem uprooting and going wherever in a very short order. I have a circle of friends. I'll do this, that, and the other, because I know what I can offer somebody and what I can bring to the table. And if somebody doesn't want that, that's fine. I don't take it personally. I mean, that's one of the things is you got to have thick skin and you got to have a soft heart. Just make sure you don't confuse those, where you have a tough heart and thin skin. Not good. I mean, when somebody says something critical of me, first off, no matter anything somebody says is not as critical that I am internally on myself, because I know what my expectations are for me. But I take it to heart and I say, where did I make a mistake? Where can I learn and where can I be better? Because for me to truly contribute to somebody else, I have to be on my game. I have to be the best that I can be. And when I'm on my game, I think people benefit. So I don't know. Hopefully I'm not tooting my horn, but
No, toot your horn, because you know we all need to kind of celebrate our wins and you know really look back on our life. That's how you build self-esteem. That's how you build self-confidence.
Yep.
Which is why the world is so lacking nowadays in those two things, because you know there's this bad stigma around tooting your own horn, and you know we definitely should celebrate everything good that we do in our lives, because it's you know it's milestones in our lives that we're gonna one day look back on.
you're
And
right.
yeah, I was there, I did that, and you know.
Yep.
Definitely.
So Adam, what else is going on in your brain? You've been quiet through this and asked me one, and I took the reins and ran with it.
Yeah, I just listen to the value that gets dropped on this podcast.
Yeah.
I normally come in with the one question that makes the podcastee go on a tangent that gives them lots of value. That's my job role in here.
Yeah, and I didn't disappoint.
You do that well. Yeah, so if have you got any sort of like golden nuggets that you would want to kind of give anyone who's listening or watching this podcast, and they're kind of really stuck or self-doubting at the moment, what would you say to them? What little bit of golden nugget, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, would you give them?
If you're not failing, you're not trying. You have got to be willing to fail. And you know what? The people and the coaching masters have been very, very complimentary and very nice in their comments to me, very supportive in everything. But, you know, we were on a call and Suze came in and she said, Jim, make sure you do this. I wasn't perfect. It was like, okay, sweet. Thank you. I don't take it personally when somebody has some, you know, comments, constructive criticism, whatever it is, because the fact that people come to us as coaches because they have situations, whatever that is going on in their life. Do you think just because we have earned a title that removes our problems? No. I always find it ironic that divorce counselors have 3 and 4 marriages. What's up with that? I mean, it's like, do you ever listen to yourself, or do you have somebody you can go to, you know? So I just think that every single person that I encounter, I try to figure out what can I learn from them, not how can I take advantage of them, or what can I gain that they're going to have to lose something for me to, no. It's none of that. It is every single person that we encounter in our life has something to offer. And as I shared this, and I laugh about it because I'm talking to people in the United Kingdom. And, you know, we have exposure to British accents through Benny Hill, Monty Python, Mike Myers, and Shrek. And so I'll use that one. And I say, when you're coaching, you have to use the Shrek method. And if you remember the movie where Shrek is talking to the donkey. And I apologize. Somebody told me I sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger instead of a Brit. He says, donkey, you got to understand, ogres are like onions. And the donkey says, why? Because y'all stink. He says, no, because we have layers and you got to peel them back. That's our job. When they give you an answer, it's simply telling you, guess what? I'm leading you somewhere. There's a reason and a basis why I just gave you that answer. We have to keep peeling back until we ultimately get to the bottom of it. I always say, and this isn't original, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, use them proportionally. And I just posted this the other day again. Sometime the most poignant comment you can make is asking another question, because the other side of it, as a CYA, if you ask questions instead of making statements, you never get accused of lying. So if somebody says something that's outrageous, you don't say, you're a complete idiot. That's crazy. What you do is say, you know what? That's really an interesting perspective. Can you give me some more insight? What exactly you meant by that?
Yeah.
And everybody in the world knows that guy's an idiot. I can't believe you didn't say you're a friggin' idiot. Well, I didn't say that. I said, can you explain your position? So yeah, I don't know if I gave a nugget there or was just chipping away at dirt, but
no, that's a very interesting statement to make, actually, or insight, because that's very emotionally intelligent. What you just described there is a perfect way of going about being emotionally intelligent and in the being.
yeah.
Asking a question with intrigue and interest rather than jumping down someone's throat, calling them an idiot, whatever. And
I had a situation with
a
club team, and it was the last club team I was with. And one of the parents, the woman who was the president of the board, was trying to separate the coaches. And she and I sat down to talk one night, and the stuff was already coming to a head. And I said, Karen, I owe you an apology. And she thought I was going to say, this, that, and the other. I said, I owe you an apology because when I heard everything you were doing, I should never have thought that about another person. And I apologize for thinking that. She just sat there. She didn't know what to say. It completely took her by surprise. How do you respond to that? Somebody just said, I'm sorry, and you've got no course for recourse. And I completely defused her and took her game. I then took charge of the situation, when she's like, well, the reputation and everything, I don't know who's going to do it. I said, let me tell you what's going to happen. I'm taking over the club. Going forward, I am now in charge of the club. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and nothing we do happens by chance.
No.
When I started my niche, as you all say over here, we call it a niche, but the niche, I was going to work with athletic coaches because they don't have anybody to talk to. If you go to your supervisor in athletics, especially in college athletics in the US, they will use it against you when something goes wrong. So you can't go to your supervisors. And I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Then a couple of weeks ago, I shared with somebody about my learning disability, and I sat in on a seminar on coaching people with ADHD, and I literally saw my life unfolding. And I said, oh my gosh. And in the meantime, I had just signed up 2 clients. In the course of my conversation, both of them have ADHD. Now, you think things are ironic or by chance? Ain't no chance in hell. Everything is destined. And, I'm in charge. I'm in control. God's in charge of my life, but I'm in control. And no, I'm just blessed that he gave me a gift for gab, but more importantly, he gave me what I consider X-ray vision to see somebody's heart.
I love that.
And when I can connect with somebody's heart, it's
Amen.
awesome.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's where the TCM community is so special, because everybody is positive. But the cool thing, everybody rejoices in the successes that others have. And I told Suze a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, people are listening to things that I say and they're sending me notes and everything else. And it's like, I didn't really think about that. I just kind of, something came to mind and I just kind of shared it. And then someone's, oh, that was okay. You know, when I write my books, I sit down at my typewriter and literally I say, God, what do you want them to hear? And then I just start typing.
Yeah.
So it's not all spiritual stuff. I was joking with somebody the other day that when I was coaching children, and this was probably 20 to 25 years ago, I decided that one, I was going to have an impact on young kids. And if that's the case, I want it to be a positive impact and not a negative. So I quit using profanity. And I mean, if I'm with friends, every now and then I may say something, but for the most part, I'm not a prude about it. And I know the way our society and culture is, it doesn't bother me. I just choose not to do it. And it surprises some people sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just me. I'm not a prude. Trust me. Because I was cognizant of who was impressionable.
Yeah.
Here's something else. I have not drank a carbonated drink since 2007. I have not had a soft drink, a Coke, Diet Coke, none of it. I had an internal issue. I quit drinking it and I have never picked it back up.
Nice.
Now, I'll drink black coffee from now till the cows come home. That's just, and every now and then I might drink an energy drink, but for the most part, yeah. But what my dream in the next year and a half is that all these restrictions drop and we are able to have an in-person thing with TCM.
Yeah.
And I get to come across the pond and meet all these people that, you know, I think everybody's going to need to like carry a cardboard cutout. So we just see from here up so everybody knows what they look like. It's like, oh, golly, you're a lot taller than I saw, because in my screen, you're only 1.5 inches tall.
You definitely get that with me. I'm 6'4", so.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, have I told you? I'm only 5'8", Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 5'8". No, I tell people, if you want to know what I look like, think about Barney Rubble. Same hairstyle. I'm short, squatty. Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait to shake your hand, and I'm looking forward to.
Oh, dude, no. There ain't no shaking hands. It's a hug.
Yeah.
I'm a hugger. That's the way I am. I'm a hugger. So.
Absolutely. Let me get.
Yeah. The only reason I'd shake your hand is if you had sleeves on, to see if you had a knife up your sleeve, because that's where the handshake, you know that, right?
Yeah.
In the Old West, that's how the handshake started. They want to make sure they had no weapons up their sleeve.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So as sort of a last question, where can people get hold of you if they want to work with you?
Oh, great question. My email is lifecoachjim@outlook.com. The videos that I'm posting, if we're not friends on Facebook, it's Coach Jim 60 is my Instagram and TikTok. That's where I'm posting my, the little coach clips. I do have a website, lifecoachjim.pro. And, so I do podcasts as well. We're on a little hiatus right now, but yeah, I would, and if somebody reaches out to me, I give out my cell number if people want to call me. So
See,
I guess,
Facebook, can people contact you on there? Jim?
yeah, and it's Jim, Jim, and my last name looks like Lutz because most people say, but it's Lutz, Lutz. And the picture, my profile picture is actually myself and my two sons. We're wearing suits and ties and have sunglasses on. And I wanted to put every girl's crazy about a sharp dressed man, but I can't put it. No, it's going to change. It's going to change here real soon as I transition into the coaching. I mean, I'm still with the financial company that I've been with, and they know, the higher ups know what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I love to talk. I love to help any way I can. And if anybody hears this and want to know, first off, if anybody reaches out to me, my first sense is gratitude and humility that anybody valued something that I could have shared that they considered of value. And second off, I'm extremely approachable, and I will tell you anything you have questions about. If somebody's really interested in me coaching them, that's awesome. But yeah, it's I'll tell you guys, it was not easy growing up. You know, I was the youngest of 6 and my mom raised us. So when mom died last month, because my dad was 33 years old and he died of an aneurysm a week before Christmas. And I was only 2 months old. Mom raised all of us. So when she died, I actually lost both my parents and last month. And, you know, she was 2 months shy of 97. We learned out very, very early that we can't afford that. You're going to go without. You will get clothes when your brother outgrows his. If you want a new bike, you're going to cut grass all summer and you'll buy it yourself because I'm not going to buy you a bike for Christmas. My mom was awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's not like she did. My mom was incredible what she was able to do. Never took one penny of government assistance until she retired. Then she got her Social Security, which she worked her whole life to earn. But there's always something out there that gives us reason to get out of bed, put one foot in front of the other. And, you know, I took my walk this morning. There were 40-mile-an-hour winds. It was drizzly. I felt like I was in London, at least my perception of what London's like. But you know what? Nobody's forcing me to do that. Nobody forces me to do anything. I want to provide for my family. I want to leave an impact on people. And that doesn't mean I want to say, oh, this is my opinion, it's right. No, somebody might hear something I say and they're like, well, he told me what not to do based on what he said. That's definitely not what I want. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine. I don't claim to be right, but I don't claim to be shy and bashful either. So you got to go with the bad, right? You take it for what it's worth. But no, if seriously, if anybody, I mean, connect through the Coaching Masters, connect through the Facebook. But I'd love to hear from people. And as I said, I'd be more than happy to help any way I can, because any plaques, any awards I may have gotten in my earlier life, they're packed in storage somewhere. I don't even know where they are. I don't need it. You know, I believe that, you know, the longer the name, the less somebody probably does. But I have a cute story. I will end it. And I know we're way over time, but hopefully that gives a little latitude here. The first paying job I got, I was a maintenance boy. I cleaned up the bathrooms, swept the pool deck, cut the grass. I was 13 years old. I got paid $1.17 an hour. No, $1.35 an hour. And So I'm sitting there thinking one day, okay, I'm the maintenance boy. It doesn't sound right. So on a piece of tape on the storage door, I wrote sanitation engineer in charge of pool ecology. That was my title, man. I felt good. What do you do? Well, I'm the sanitation engineer in charge of pool ecology. What the heck's that? I sweep floors and clean toilets. What do you think it means? But I'll tell you what, I got so much traction out of that. People thought it was great. They were laughing. They thought, you know what? And see, back in Kentucky where I grew up, I was known as Jimmy. Now in the world, I'm Jim, right? But anytime I hear Jimmy, I know I'm back home. And they were just like, Jimmy, only you would think of something like that. It's like, hey, you know what? You got to laugh. You just got to laugh. So.
I did that on a plane once. I sat in the opposite the toilet, and I was literally flagging the toilet where people would stumble up the aisle, not knowing where to go. So I just point to the toilet, and I come up with a cute little name for that as well as my job title throughout this flight. So that was something similar. I can't actually remember what it was now though.
I'm thinking it was something like sanitary
signpost holder.
So it wasn't something like Sergeant of Shit.
Sergeant of Shit, yeah. Yeah, that would have been even
Oh my God, I just used profanity. Oh well, okay. That's all right. All good.
So really pleasure to have you on tonight, Jim. Thank you so much for giving us your time and those amazing stories and stuff. And for everyone watching, let's remember to
Grow that courage,
build up that confidence, and let's get back your Roar.
and changing the world one life at a time.
Absolutely. Right, take it easy, guys. Thank you.
See you guys.